続いて品種の基準と錦鯉証明システムについて移ってまいります。
We are going to have the session on the variety standard and Nishikigoi certificate system. And the moderator will be Mr. Masahito Higuchi, director of the Inland Waters Experimental Station of Niigata Prefecture. My name is Higuchi. I'm from the Niigata Prefecture's Inland Waters Experiment Station. I'm going to moderate this session. And in the first part, we have heard from 5 people from 5 different countries about their situation and possibilities for new exchanges. So based on that, in this current session, we are going to talk about the standards for varieties and the Nishikigoi certificate system. Right now, Nishikigoi is distributed around the world, and we would like to talk about the standardization of quality and the appropriate distribution and what we are doing in Japan. And the presenter is Mr. Shunichi Yoshida, the Vice Director of All Japan Nishikigoi Promotion Association. Thank you for the introduction. But my company is situated in Tokyo, and I have been acting as organizations liaisons with the fisheries agency, and I have been working for a very long time cooperating with the fisheries agencies about the certificate system that is needed for export of Nishikigoi. And as Mr. Higuchi said, I'm going to talk about the quality. And also, because of these recent changes about the values of Nishikigai and what we are going to do as a new industry, because of COVID-19, there have been great changes in the perception of the values 2 or 3 years ago. And we were very worried, and nobody would come to Japan to buy Nishikigoi. But then, actually, COVID-19 and the at-home trend was a tailwind for us, increasing the trade online. And also, we have been dealing with various challenges, for example, the increasing costs and so forth. And it's very important that we emphasize on the quality. And to do that, I would like to ask for your cooperation so that we can tackle the challenges for the future. As for the koi itself, Mr. Suga already gave you the in-depth overview, so there may be some overlaps. But first of all, about the Japanese, the Japanese word for or the characters to represent the koi. The relationship between koi and human beings. The fish in the river near village is koi in the Chinese characters. So that means that the koi has had very close relationship with us people, and these Chinese characters represent very well that nature. And this is, as you saw, 5 years ago, it was designated as Japanese agricultural heritage, and the typical of that is these mountainous villages in Niigata. So the water from melted snow is used in the rice fields, rice terraces, and using that those terraces, the koi is kept and raised. And 200 years ago, Nishikigoi was born in the mountainous areas, and the origin is at the very left top of this graph. born from a Magoi, and now we have these representative varieties, as you see on the right-hand side. So, because this was born in very mountainous areas with very few exchanges with the outside world, and so by chance mutations, Nishikigoi was born. And also because of this very mountainous areas with deep snow in the wintertime, people did not have many forms of entertainment. So that is why, they really, truly loved to breed the Nishikigoi, I believe. And this year, there were two major events for Nishikigoi. One of them is this Japan agricultural standards. And another is the certification recognition given by another organization to recognize Nishikigoi as the national fish. And as you can see on the right-hand side, these are books, and it's titled Kokugyo, or National Fish. And these are calligraphy based on the Mr. Kakue Tanaka, former prime minister who is from Niigata prefecture. And we published these books with these calligraphy, and we have been long working on this so that to realize the recognition of Nishikigoi as the national fish. But then it was rather from overseas that really promoted the movement, because when it comes to fish from Japan, it is Nishikigoi. That recognition was born and grew in overseas countries. And so that became a very tailwind for us and resulted in this certificate given from other organization. And this is the National Diet Building in Tokyo. And the Nishikigoi were brought to the diet from Niigata, and so we appealed the importance of Nishikigoi, and also that Niigata prefecture is the birthplace of Nishikigoi, and we were able to send out that message widely to Japan. And in the middle, and the honorary president, Mr. Yoshida of Japan Ornamental Fish Association, and then that Mr. Yoshida gave this certificate to Governor Hanasumi, and many people gathered, and as you can see in this photo. And this pond can be seen from the corridors for the public who visit the National Diet Building. Another major event, which happened in February this year, Japan agricultural standards added new provisions which we could utilize to Nishikigai and Nishikigoi, and then there was only one provision, but in 2017 the law was revised, and number 2, 3, 4 new provisions were added, and the number 4 provision, which is related to agricultural forestry products handling or testing of agricultural forestry products. And we applied this to Nishikigoi variety names. And then Mr. Higuchi, our moderator, created these material. So it would be better if Mr. Higuchi explained this, but I was told to explain this, so I'm going to do it anyway. So there are more than 140 different varieties of Nishikigoi, and although 21 varieties were recognized in the standards, but actually there are more than 140. And then the All Japan Nishikigoi Promotion Association has created this category, and we started out with these 21. And the names for the one variety may differ from one person to another, or from one country to another. So we wanted to standardize the names. And so we wanted to standardize the names so that they can be used not only in Japan but overseas. So first of all, we wanted to establish unified standards for varietal names and establish an easy-to-understand variety system and expand recognition of JAS standard, Nishikigoi varieties. And to be able to use JAS standard is really a matter of honor for us. And also the definition of the quality. So we now have the 21 varieties whose names are established in the standard. But now, because the number of varieties is increasing, we need to work on the standardization going forward. For example, it's starting with kohaku and ends with kohaku. That's what we always say about Nishikigoi. So the definition of this variety is, for example, kohaku has a white body and there are red or scarlet imprints called hamon in Japan across the body. This is an example of the definition. And for example, goshiki is very popular in Japan, and then in overseas and in Niigata, you cannot find any producers who do not produce goshiki. And then there are 129 varieties, such as goshiki sanshoku or goshiki showa. Or the goshiki sanshoku will not be included in the sanshoku category, and the goshiki showa will not go into this showa category, but stays with goshiki, for example. But with a lot more goshiki varieties, we may have to come up with a new category. But for now, we have this goshiki category. And then if it's a tancho or ginrin, sometimes we don't know which one it should go, but it's very important that we convey how we categorize and how we define those varieties to many people in Japan. And here we have the cooperation from the prefecture, to which we really appreciate. And uniform standards for secure distribution is very important, because people may buy Nishikigoi by the name of the variety, but it may end up that they get quite a different variety. And thank you very much. Mr. Fan of the Sanshin Trading created this beautifully, and it's very important that we are going to promote these efforts. And then Mr. Issa and Mr. Fan will be making presentations after this. And even at the remote show, if we can use the uniform standards, people can feel secure about what they are buying and what they are trading. And so we have the unified names for varieties, but of course this JAS mark cannot be put on the fish. That's something that we are kind of sorry for. However, instead, Nishikigoi certificate can be issued, and All Japan Nishikigoi Promotion Association is thinking of this. system. So each one fish can be managed by the promotion association's database. And then the JAS definition and the certificate will put into that database. So if one Nishikigoi is registered with the database, and you should not end there because you can update the data. And if the data is accumulated about that particular fish, then you can see the record of growth, and you can see how the fish grow beautifully. And that information can be used for different purposes. As you can see, JAS varieties for Nishikigoi certificate system. Of course, if this certificate has a JAS mark here, that would have been better, but we are told that that cannot be done. Because that is the rule. So we just describe it on the variety of Japanese agricultural standard. And JAS is an agricultural standards in Japan. And although this is in Japanese only, but for overseas people, we can also add the English description. And I hope that this kind of system will be contributing to enhancing the value. And there will be a unique ID number. And once the one particular fish is registered with the database, you can add a different kind of information onto it. So for that purpose, ID is issued. And this is the cover, but behind the cover, the producer can access that and input and update the growth record and other records. To what extent the general public can have access to, whether it is only to the cover page or further than that, we need to discuss in the future. And then you input the mail address and then password, and then you can update the certificate data. And if the owners want a particular information about their Nishikigoi, then the producer can input the information. And then from the PC or smartphone, you can access the database, which is the cloud base. And then with the ID number, and if the photo that comes up with that ID number is different from what you think yours, then you can see that that certificate is phony.
And this probably would not happen, but there could be cases where fraudulent certificates might come around. So it is still a possibility that we should keep in mind. So we should take measures to prevent this kind of thing from happening. And that is why the number and the data held by the Promotions Association must always be the same. So we need to come up with a way of managing the information properly. And so this is also another way of making sure that each individual koi is registered properly and identified without any other counterfeits coming around. And in the morning with Mr. Taira, Mr. Shibuya, Mr. Watanabe spoke about what we have been doing inside the Nishikigoi industry. But seen from the outside, we heard of many new perspectives of how Nishikigoi is seen from the outside. But long time ago, my grandfather started koi farming 100 years ago, and in Tokyo, in Hachioji, we do not have enough space to have lots of koi. But I have been involved in Nishikigoi for a long time in my life, so just looking at this, I think there are many, many possibilities that the Nishikigoi can offer to the world. So when we think about the metaverse and digitalization, I think there is a lot of possibilities. So the ornamental fish, including tropical fish, are all grouped under this same Chinese character, which represents admiration. And it is mainly about enjoying looking at things related to nature, and such as animals, plants, and scenery. And the bottom part, appreciation, is represented by a different Chinese character, although pronounced the same. And appreciation means understanding and appreciating a work of art. And what I want to do is to transform koi into appreciation of art. So there are two values of Nishikigoi. Ornamental fish means artworks. So I really think Nishikigoi are a piece of art. So I want to elevate the level of Nishikigoi from just ordinary ornamental fish. And this is something that Mr. Han kindly created. And so this was created by Sanshin Trading, and you can see multiple grand champions of the past 7 years swimming in your virtual pond at the same time. So you can create your own collection, your own virtual pond. This is another possibility that digitalization can realize. So these were cute kois. So actually, this time I was not able to show you this particular video, but last year in Akihabara they had the Tohoku Niigata Earth Festival. And this was a festival aiming at the reconstruction and promotion of the Tohoku and Niigata regions after the Great Japan East earthquake. And you can actually see this on YouTube video today. And it is a fabulous piece of a video clip with Nishikigoi. So if you can kindly search Tohoku Earth and Nishikigoi, you will be able to find this YouTube video. So please kindly take a look at it when you have time and if you are interested. And so we are making steps in progress, step by step. So even in your own cell phones and other portable devices, you will be able to see a Nishikigoi. I think the development of this kind of technology is progressing day after day, and we shall be able to encounter new things in the future. And here, these are still photographs that we used. At the left top is the Geihinkan Palace in Akasaka. And then the right-hand top is the pond, a fountain in the Diet Building. And then on the left-hand side is a famous pond in another part of Japan, and the right bottom part is the Buddhist temple garden in Kyoto. And so it's possible to actually virtually create these kinds of prestigious ponds and then have your own digital Nishikigoi swimming in those digital environments. But it's not that anybody can come in and copy those images, because we need to have an NFT and have this managed as a metaverse. So the All Japan Nishikigoi Promotion Association should be the managing entity, and to not only to manage but also to make sales. And by doing it in this kind of a way, the koi owners will also be able to make a profit, and it also contributes to the further development of the koi Nishikigoi industry. So this is a virtual space, but actually the Nishikigoi that are swimming are koi that used to really exist in reality, because we are an association or a group of people who are fond of actual live koi. So we must stick to that original foundation. And for example, here at the very left is the 200 million yen koi that we spoke about. And the middle is the koi that got the grand champion last year. And then the right-hand side is the koi that was a grand champion many decades ago. And these different koi from different era can be swimming in the same virtual space. And maybe the one in the middle is only about 60 centimeters. The one on the left is about 1 meter. And so they come in different sizes, but you can actually have them swimming in the same virtual space in the same pond. Just imagining something like that makes you wonder that it is very interesting. So this can also be sold as a piece of art, as a part of a private collection, for example, that could add and enhance the hobby of many people around the world. And on the next page, for example, for the tategoi, if you buy, and if you have this entrusted with a breeder, so first it's about 20 centimeters, and then it's about 60 centimeters at year 3, and then you can actually try having them swim in the same virtual pond at the same time and see how the difference is, and see how quickly they grew. So even if you have entrusted your carp to a koi farm, it is still possible to continue monitoring the growth of your koi. So with COVID-19 and other distribution problems, there are many areas where it is actually difficult to ship koi, but even to those markets, we can reach out virtually using digital technology like this. And when it comes to Metaverse, there are many benefits to that. And so until now, even if you win the Grand Championship, it was just the honor that you had, and there were no real monetary benefits. And for example, after winning the Grand Championship, there was a case where the Grand Champion actually died. That means the value goes down to 0. So if you are able to make transactions in the virtual world, even if your live koi ends its life, you will still be able to capitalize on that particular Nishikigoi for a longer time. So this is another benefit of digitalization. And for example, you can become the owner of an NFT image, and if the Nishikigoi owner will be able to collect the usage fees of the NFT images, and then that could accumulate and provide funding for buying a new koi in the future. So this kind of NFT business model, when coupled together with a proper certification system and managing the images properly, then you will be able to actually capitalize more on your business. And you will also be able to enjoy the world of Nishikigoi through the virtual world. But it is really important to make sure that not anybody just come in and copy and duplicate the images for free of charge. So you will need to have this in a controlled manner. And that is one way of making sure that the images will become a source of revenue and will be also a source of generating monetary financial benefits. And earlier we heard about famous people, celebrities such as Brad Pitt and Lady Gaga enjoying Nishikigoi. But these kind of famous people will also become virtual ambassadors in terms of spreading word of mouth about the charms of the Nishikigoi all over the world. And as a result, we should be able to continue expanding a network of Nishikigoi enthusiasts all over the world. So, I would like to conclude my presentation here. But anyway, for the Metaverse, we are still at a proposition level, and we do not have any concrete progress as of yet. But with this kind of as a priority item going forward, we would like to study how far we can go. And we hope to receive additional funding from the national government for the development of this Metaverse scheme going forward. It won't be easy work, but we need to collaborate with many other industries, and we also need to seek your cooperation and support in order to make this develop further. And I think Nishikigoi has that potential. Lastly but not least, I hope that Nishikigoi, as the symbol of peace, will contribute to a world without any wars. And I really believe that realizing a world where Nishikigoi is loved all over the world will contribute to peace. And so for all of you who are members of the diplomatic corps this afternoon, I really ask you to spread the word of mouth. And in the morning, we were accosted by the diplomatic team from Mexico wanting to have Nishikigoi sent to their country. And I really hope that Nishikigoi will be able to contribute to the peace of the world. Thank you very much once again for listening. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Yoshida. Please remain there. And so Mr. Yoshida spoke about how this was designated as a national fish, and also about the Nishikigoi certification system. And also in the morning part, we spoke about Nishikigoi being treated as pieces of art, and also it has a lot of connections with the digitalization and the potential for generating business in the digital arena. So, as my impression, I think Nishikigoi is a piece of art, and so the producers will also become called as artists going forward. But anyway, I think there is a lot of new potential for generating new business, and we would like to take any comments and questions from the floor. So, please raise your hand and let us know your name and affiliation if you have any comments or questions. Okay, so let me start by my comments. In the first session, we had 5 people who presented their views, and the actual Nishikigoi enthusiasts, I mean, there are many younger people becoming part of this, and they are engaged in communication using digital devices and social media. And with the arrival of COVID-19, it is getting even more stronger. And in the digital area, I know that there is a lot of possibilities. But in reality, for the actual sales and distribution of the Nishikigoi business, and also to expand the number of enthusiasts, Mr. Yoshida, I know you have a lot of ideas in your mind, but if you kindly share with us any such ideas that you have in your mind. Well, in the All Japan Nishikigoi Promotion Association, if you kindly visit our website, it's only in Japanese. And we're saying we want to expand to the world, but we don't even have an English website. And that means our communication capacity is very low. So we have a lot of overseas lovers who visited Niigata with the koi farmers, and you have like 200, 300 million views of those people who have shown YouTube videos. But for the domestic koi farmers, we seldom see that kind of example. So we have to really focus on what we want other people to see, what we want to really show to our friends in the world. I think we should make a greater effort in making that happen. Thank you very much. So for the interest of time, for any additional comments and questions, please kindly personally ask these people after the session is over. So for those people who are in the audience today, and all of those people who are visiting us online, I hope that this kind of idea that was proposed this afternoon was helpful to all of you. So now it is time to close this particular session. Thank you very much once again for listening. Mr. Yoshida, Mr. Higuchi, thank you very much. So now we would like to take a 5-minute break, and we will resume at 14:35, 2:35 p.m. we will resume. Thank you very much. We will take a 5-minute break, and we will resume at 2:35 p.m. Thank you.